hello everybody, and welcome to Divorce Isn't Happening. Divorce is happening. I wish it wasn't for some of you, but you don't have to lose you. Free webinar, right? And man, I want to tell you something. Listen, the subject around divorce is not a very happy subject to have, but I believe it's necessary because there's a process. Going through it myself, I discovered a process. And that process was, in my case, and this varies, I'm sure, from case to case. But in my case, I didn't want it to be over, right? And so I did everything I could to try and keep it and save it, to finally having the realization that I needed to let it go. And then once I got to that, then the reality start to set in and all the things that go along with that letting go process. And found myself not knowing what to do next, right? So wherever you might be, welcome to this free webinar where we talk about something that I believe is very powerful, right? That can help someone in any phase that I just discussed, right? Find their way, to some peace, calm, right? And the next steps. So, I just want to let you know today that I do qualify to be here to talk to you, right? I always share this story because, my mom and dad are now gone. We're married for 45 years, I believe. And before my mom passed, and they were married, man. They were a couple, right? They had 5 of us, and they really wanted to have a family and raise a family together and do all the things that oftentimes they would talk about how it was for them and how they wanted it to be for us, and they made those things possible, right? So they were into this whole family business, right? They wanted to make this thing, the family work. They were committed to it, and it was a time raising kids when the world was, you think the world's crazy now, but it was crazy then too, right? I mean, so there's a lot of similarities. But anyway, I'll stay on target, right? Because I know you got things to do, but I want you to stay with me through this messaging, right? Because in that experience with my parents, so as a young kid and then growing up, I saw things and I began to understand and ask questions. And I'd ask my dad, share this a lot. I asked my dad, so how do you, I was probably 16, 17, somewhere in there, and I thought I was a player, right? So I was having all this stuff with all this stuff, right? And so I said, man, how do you keep, I just won. And my mom was fire, right? She was fine, beautiful, powerful woman, right? Just, my mom was fire, but I'm like, why I won? So anybody told me, and he said, we want to have more than, we wanted to have a family, all these things. And, one instance when I got called to the hospital, and this is one of the issues that were discovered with my mom, and I'm going into the hospital room, right? And listen, I'm so far away from having a good relationship at that point in my life, but I want to tell you this story, right? So I'm going in here, and I see, my family lined up along the wall, and my mom's sitting in the bed, right? And she's sitting up fine and sharp and all this stuff. And so I scan the room, and I come and I find my father at the foot of her bed. And he and listen, this is my father he's gone now, a manly man, right? So he's at the foot of her bed, though. Check this out, y'all. He's at the foot of her bed, painting her toenails, right? I found out later that my sister was doing it, and he's like, no, get out of the way. Let me try. Let me do it. That was his woman. That's how it was, right? So I always felt like I wanted that. Didn't know how to have that. And then I found that I eventually got to having that. And my first marriage, I thought it would last forever. Like I was telling you this story, right? But things didn't end up that way. And I made some bad choices, and blew things up. And so here I am sitting, years ago in this space, in this time, in this struggle, trying, as I mentioned earlier, trying to save something that I thought would last forever. I wanted it to last forever, right? I mean, we had fun. Listen, it was, right? Before all this stuff got crazy, we were like hanging out, man. It was the 3 of us. And that was my life, and her family and my family, everybody was together, right? So, I didn't want this thing to end. Right? Even though I made some bad choices, man. But I'm just trying to tell you that there's that situation And then there's the situations where people couldn't wait to get away from one another, right? And everything in between there. So I say all that to say to you that wherever you are right now in your divorce process, and you may even have gotten through it, wherever you are right now, there is hope, right? So however heavy it feels to you, however it might feel like it's just, when's this going to ever stop? When will it ever lighten up, man? I want to tell you, hang in here with this webinar, right? Because I discovered something I want to introduce to you guys and let you know what's going on around it today, right? But before we do, let me introduce myself. My name is Jeff Tyson, and I'm the founder of Comeback King Enterprises, who is hosting this webinar and the Summit Series, From Heartbreak to Healing, Pathways to Extraordinary Love During and After Divorce, right? So these things that we're talking about are real life experiences, man. And we do it in collaboration with Conversations with Jeff, where our whole overall mission, man, is to amplify the message of strength, right? And our life's comebacks and seeing them as a lifestyle, right? A lifestyle of strength, a lifestyle that leads us to a purpose, a lifestyle that, man, if we don't give up, we can really find ourselves like I did, right? Find ourselves on the other side of the pain and the misery, and opportunities to work on ourselves and find self-love again and all the things that I did. And I'll tell you how it ended up for me later on. But man, I want to just say welcome, right? And thank those sponsors and for putting this thing together. And all I ask, and I got a couple of things I want to ask when you come in, let me know where you're from. Hey, if you feel bold enough, let me know what phase this thing is for you, what I've already talked about, this divorce thing or relationship. If you're here just stopping in, let me know what's going on with you, right? Stop in, let's communicate via the comment section. I'm going to try not to read too much of it, but I'll get back to you after the show's all done to make sure that you know that your message is important. Your being here is important, right? So that's it. One thing, comment, let me know where you're from, and all that other kind of stuff that we do in social media today, right? And I would like to ask you to go to Conversations with Jeff, like and share and all that stuff. But let me get back to why you're really here, and that is what I'm about to show you. But my last request, well, another request, I'll probably got more coming, is that when I talk to you, I'm going to be speaking to your heart. I'm going to be speaking to what might feel heavy, and some of these things are designed question-wise to get you to think about things, but I want you to know you're in a safe spot. Right? No judgment zone. Right? So let your hair down, sit back and relax, and let's take this ride. Is that cool? So I'm going to push you a little bit. You let me know who you are, what's going on, what phase you're in this life, and that you're willing to share this information with friends that you know if you're not going through this yourself. So we can kind of step into what I believe is the lifestyle of the comebacks, right? And divorce is just one of those comebacks in life, man, and we can grow and be strong. But it takes time. But it's possible. All right. So anyway, let me just say, we got all that together. So let's go. I'm going to check and see right quick. Make sure we got everything in there. Hey, Diane, what's going on from Pittsburgh? Never married. Interesting topic. Hey, I appreciate you stopping in, cuz. Yeah, so we're going to talk about the mirror moment here in a moment and what to do with the things when our heart is broken and we just don't know what to do next, right? So anyway, let's take this journey together, folks. Here we go. Make sure we got everything lined up here, and we're going to get a little bit of me and a bigger picture of what we're talking about, all right? So here we go. This is it. Welcome to, and I talked about the Summit Series and the Fireside Chats, all focused on the relationship piece from Comeback King Enterprises, and the three core areas that we work in are relationships, health, and community, right? And so you can put business in there and all the other things, they fit in community. Business fits in community, it fits in health, it fits in relationships, right? So we've covered that space. So here we are. I'm talking to you now about something I discovered for myself, the mirror moment, right? And a 3-step challenge. It's a 3-step challenge to start healing your journey, right? I already told you, man, I was a mess, right? 3-step process to healing your journey. We'll talk all about what that looks like and all that stuff. So I want you to be thinking about when you look in the mirror, what do you like about the person that's looking back at you? Especially for you folks going through this divorce piece, but even the ones that are here just checking it out like you, because what is it that you like about that person that's looking back at you? And what is it that you're uncomfortable with that person looking back at you, right? Oh man, because it's the reflection of our soul. I believe it, man. I'm a simple guy, man. So listen to me when I'm talking to you about this stuff. Look in the mirror and tell me who's looking back at you, right? And my name again is Jeff Tyson, the Comeback King and founder of Comeback King Enterprises, and talked about what we do and speaking and all that stuff, right? So you're going to look in that mirror, right? So let's go. First thing I ask you to do is take a look in the mirror, man. Right? And then, so we move on now. Here's some things. And I want to talk about who this is for. I kind of mentioned it before, but I'm going to go, who is it for? Anybody is in that phase of divorce, right? Or a relationship. But if you're here and you're not married, but you're in relationships, let's talk about that too. Because it kind of, emotions are emotions. Pain is pain, right? And healing, baby, is healing. So if you were replaying everything you said and everything you wish you said, you're losing the relationship, and all you can think about is what you've said before and what you wish you would have said. You know what I'm talking about, all that stuff. Trying to fix it all by yourself, right? Keeping everything slightly becoming invisible each day because you're doing things against your will. You're doing things to make you feel bad, but I couldn't stop. I just told Jeff, right? Well, I'm gonna share my story along throughout this, right? I couldn't stop, man. I was doing things I told you to try to save this marriage, man. Swinging between and fighting for it and saying, oh, forget it, man. I can't do it anymore. And then fighting for it again. That vicious cycle, that insanity that happens when our heart is broken, right? Losing sleep, focus. Man, that was a mess. Hey, I mean, I show up here, and why I'm excited about being here because it's, there are people like I was that were hurt, man, and I'm not gonna hide behind the pain. You need to know that it's okay. Wherever you are, you're gonna be okay, right? You will be okay. Losing yourself is only temporary, baby, right? So realizing it's over. I like to read this. Realizing it's over, and I don't know who I am on the other side of this. The biggest fear for me was, man, what happens to me after my family's gone? Right? Because we were tight knit, man. We hung out. I'm telling y'all, right? It impacted everybody around me. That, and the shame and the guilt and all that stuff that goes along with however side of the table you are, if you were the one that blew it up, or if you were blown up on, or if it was a kind of a combination, or if you both just didn't like each other and it just was a terrible thing, or however it might be, where are you going to be on the other side? So I'm going to start with a simple question. I told you I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. When was the last time you told yourself the truth? And what I mean by that, what is the last time you looked in, if you look in the mirror anymore, and told yourself the truth about what the situation was or is for you right now, with no mask, right? No muscles. I put that in there because, I thought I'd get in better shape, man, because, I was already in decent shape. I wanted to make sure I could look my best for all this kind of stuff, right? Woo, man, that was a mess. So I'm good, denying things, and just wherever you fit. When was the last time you really said, nah, this is how I'm really feeling? That took me a minute, right? This is how I'm really feeling, man. And it started in the mirror, right? Because I was too ashamed to talk to anybody else about it. I didn't, I just was, that's where my space was, right? So when was the last time? Because in order to heal, and this is what I was saying, in order to heal, I needed to do these other things, man. I needed, and drop in the chat what you need to do to heal. What do you do to get over things? What is your coping skills? My coping skills, man, they weren't very good at that time, right? So I felt like I just needed to be stronger. I needed to work harder, right? I was, all about saving my business, man. I had my business. My very first business I built after 20 years or so in corporate America, man, I built it to 40 employees and going on 8 figures out, and it was blowing up too, man. So I'm like, ooh. There were many nights that I would come home from trying to find customers that owed me money in my business, trying to find new business. And, my business was tied to the housing market. I was a high energy insulation specialist. So we did the cool things with green building and insulating houses and small hotels and all this stuff with this unique products, and everything was cool until it wasn't, right? So I'm out there trying to do this and then come home to a big empty house. Right? When that house used to, bring joy and all that. Well, actually, it was it was the house I bought. Thinking that, man, she always wanted to be in this neighborhood. If I do this house thing, then maybe that'll maybe she'll forgive me. I'm just telling you guys. Hear me what I'm saying. Go back and if there's a replay, you want to get this replay, man, because I'm just telling you how it was for me, right? And I worked harder. I ignored the pain, the emotional pain, and I paid more, all that stuff. And while I thought all that might have been true, it wasn't really, right? Healing really, what's the first? Read that line. Healing rarely comes from trying harder. Man, I was working my butt off. I was trying hard like a champ, but nothing was working, man. Most people don't need more willpower. They need a framework. I didn't need to keep doing what I was doing. I needed something new. I needed to reset myself with a different kind of framework, right? So today I'm gonna give you my framework that I'm excited about, man. And the mirror moment ties into seeing the light comebacks as a lifestyle, right? So when you begin to understand the power and standing in the struggle, the strength gained from standing on top of the struggle, right? And then taking steps when you can't feel like you can move at all. That's what I'm talking about here, right? So anyway, giving you a mirror moment that helps you see, right? I couldn't see. I mean, I couldn't see myself in the frame, baby. Right? I mean, I was in it. You hear that saying, you can't see your own self in the frame, right? And I wasn't going to get counseling, and I wasn't going to have people kind of know what I was doing, man. Right? Because I was just, I was embarrassed about the situation that I created, man. I'm just talking about Jeff, right? And so if any of this resonates, just, you can DM me if you don't want to use the comment section. You DM me, right? Because I'm here to help you with this stuff, right? So anyway, looking at seeing the patterns, breaking those loops, and then people say, well, what do you mean by loops? I'm talking about, calling up just to say hi, and she would be gracious and talk to me, and I just saw her the day before, and we're supposed to be separated and going separate ways. And so that loop of getting off work, looking forward to making those phone calls and maybe going by and seeing her and looping and just looping around those things that, right, where you get the idea, right? And then rebuilding the comeback, man. So seeing the patterns, breaking the loops, and then rebuilding the comeback, that new framework we're talking about, right? That's why I'm so adamant about understanding the power of the comeback and the gifts in the comeback, man. Not just in this, but on all aspects of our life, right? So I got to ask you a question. If it could help you find peace tomorrow, if I could help you find peace tomorrow, wouldn't you want a simple way to protect it? And that's what's created all this stuff, right? Peace and calm. What is it that's, if you had that thing and you were, if you had that peace or calm or, courage. I needed some courage, man. I was the Lion of the Wizard of Oz. I didn't have any courage to do nothing different, man. Sometimes you would think I was a Tin Man, but that's a guy with no brain, right? So anyhow, and this ain't about old poor Jeff. I'm just sharing the story as we go along, getting to know me a little bit, because if you resonate with me, there's going to be an opportunity for us to continue this conversation, right? So anyway, if you could help find peace tomorrow and some way to protect it, would you want to keep it? And we already know the answer to that is yes. If you're listening to this and you're human, yes is the answer, right? So here's where we kind of maybe feel a little touchy and it might touch a few nerves. And please understand that it comes out of love, but I really want you to be thinking about something. No matter what happens after you do this, see this webinar, whatever direction you go, I want you to really be thinking about something that you can do to change your situation, right? Right? Or help somebody else. It might not be you. Maybe it's somebody else that you know is doing what I'm talking about. And you're like helpless and you don't know what to do. Maybe this will help them. So success won't heal what you refuse to face. And I did not want to face my situation. That, as she said from the beginning, I love you, but I can't do it. Right? And but I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to accept that, right? So you're Hey, I'm built to lead the women. This is for women and men. We're built to lead, provide, protect, and still be emotionally whole. I had to like, hey, this is all that's going on. It's heavy on me, but I'm okay, right? I had to be whole. I had to kind of keep move things, trying to save my business, trying to keep my head above water. Always try. And if you're really trying, you ain't really doing nothing, right? So I was really just spinning on wheels, man. Healing isn't soft. It's a leadership pace, man. At that time, I couldn't imagine, not stopping what I was doing, man. Anything else would seem weak to me, right? Your comeback isn't just personal, right? When we're going through these things in life, it wasn't just personal. This explains my purpose. It explains who I was. I had to get through some stuff, right? So I'm going through these things, man. So if that's you, just hang in there with me, right? Hang in there with me, right? Because you can't out-achieve what you won't heal. So I always like to say you can't heal what you don't reveal, right? You got to peel to heal. All these little cool things, these sayings, but man, listen, you can't out-achieve it. And I'm an expert at that that space. Most of the first part of my life, it was all about hiding behind success. It was all about stuffing things and pretending like things didn't work. And then I met my first wife, and she helped me get some help and begin to grow. So I'm talking about we had some things together, man. I mean, I really have some, still to this day, appreciate a lot of what she's done for me, man, right? So, as I go through this conversation with y'all, I'm just sharing how heavy things were, but how much of denial I was in, and how much I just couldn't pay attention to what was really happening to me, right? Is that you too? You can't out-achieve unhealed pain. You can't out-achieve unhealed pain, man. It just won't happen. Performance becomes a mask, right? Silence becomes a prison. These pieces of the mask must come off. And once you share your voice, the bars come down from the prison, right? If you're honest, you've been carrying, and this is a piece I always like to push people with. And listen, if you've been honest with yourself so far when you hear this, you've been carrying things you've never processed. In addition to what the current situation with your marriage or your divorce, right? You've still been carrying some things you never processed. So if you're honest, you've been carrying things you've never processed. You don't have to do that anymore, okay? So I always like to I've been sharing a lot of my aha moments along this whole piece of it. So that, there's been some things I've talked about and how I started to see my patterns, how I started to look at the loops and understand what I was doing, the action, and how it was leading me, and what was triggering me, and what denial meaning what I was not really being. I was told one thing, but I was hoping and believing in something else, right? So this is just my cycle, that loop going around and around and around, right? So, but when I finally said, oh man, stop. I flipped my stinking thinking and built a healing approach, right? All this stuff I'm talking to you about, if I'm fighting, trying to hold on to something, ignoring what I've been told, doing all these things, trying to save something that was coming apart, and it was over, and not wanting to accept that, not wanting to surrender to that, not wanting to do something different, right? I was just following that stinking thinking, man. And it was killing me. Hey, listen, the actions behind the thinking, the actions behind the stinking thinking, 9 out of 9 times led to more pain, led to more heartbreak, led to more things at the end of the day, because nothing really changed. But I kept doing it anyway, right? And I finally realized, man, I gotta stop this, right? I need to be thinking about how can I heal? What does that look like? Right? What action can I take to start the healing first, right? Not imagine first, right? Not grind first, not imagine things are okay and everything I lived in my head, not do more work, not do more grind, none of that stuff. Simply healing first. I began to put a little bit of me back together, just like put a little bit of you back together. And when the inside gets healthy, man, the comeback process gets lighter. And say that to you again one more time. When the inside, when you begin to feel good on the inside, when you begin to be able to recognize that you are changing, right? That some of these things are helping. You feel better about yourself, right? Anyway, so inside is healthy, the comeback process gets lighter. The mirror moment is where high level results, I love this. The mirror moment is where high level results become your normal way of living once again. And that's the pathways that you take to get there, right? Doesn't happen overnight, it happens over time, right? But the mirror moment is where high level results become your normal. And that's the promise, right? That what we're talking about, man, you will find your feet back on the ground, your heart healing, your emotions healing. You will find love for yourself again. That's the promise, baby. Right? It all starts by looking in the mirror, man. It's simple. Oh, come on now. So look, this is where you come back becomes real, right? I like to always talk about this section. When I watch men and women and myself go through these things and stop hiding, start using a framework, something different, something that protects themselves from themselves. I'm gonna say that again, something that protects themselves from themselves, man. I was my biggest and worst enemy until I wasn't. I recognized the patterns, looked at the loops. So what am I talking about? Stop hiding and start using the framework that we're talking about. I call it the mirror moment, right? And my coach, his man Jeff, he loves that, right? Because it's simple. Become aware. It's about awareness. And then beginning to release some things. As you release those things, you put back other things and you begin to rebuild yourself, right? Awareness, release, and rebuild. And it was kind of natural for me because I was in leadership role in human development for the last 45 years. And so when I got to this space where I could when I became aware of my actions being the detriment to the current cause of my emotional state, right? That I couldn't blame anybody else. I had to take full responsibilities for my actions. I had to believe that I would be okay by letting go. And the harder I held on, the more pain I was creating for everybody. Most importantly, myself. We have to learn to put ourselves first again, right? Anyway, so you guys are getting the message. I've been so I work with, and men and women have helped me, right? As I've helped them and see what it works. So I know how important it is to create safe space, the truth, right? I mean, no smoke screens, no sugarcoating things, right? It's about some real truths, and then what the framework looks like to protect yourself, right? So safe space, truth, and framework. Safe space, truth, and framework. STF. SSTF. SSTF. I'm just making this up as we go. All right. So you guys get the idea, right? Come on, man. Come on now. Let's talk. What's what we're talking about here, right? So let me just break it down to you now. We got 3 bullets on this thing here, and we're going to go through these bullets and just to kind of give you an idea, summary, so you can take pictures of it. I encourage you to take a picture of this stuff and then put it on your mirror, right? Facing the mirror is number 1, right? And that's part of the awareness, right? When we start to look in the mirror, we say, oh, man, we become aware of our patterns. We look at the journey we've been on, right? Naming the patterns, put a good name on it, right? And understanding who's responsible to change those patterns, right? And then the triggers that fed into the pattern and how the pattern and the triggers kind of created its own story that kept you in the loop, right? What is it? What are you rehearsing? Oh, man, I was getting ready. I would figure out my day, and it was always in the back of my mind how I was going to make some kind of connection. Put myself in jeopardy all the time, right? And then breaking that loop, right? Making some commitments, man. Real simple. Releasing, starting to let go, right? Separating shame from the truth. When I started to say, okay, yeah, man, she wasn't perfect either, right? And I started to look at these things, but there wasn't any reason for me to do what I did. So I have to be careful when I say that, right? I made a choice that was not good. And so there's all of that to say. Framework, shame, truth, and some forgiveness. Grieving, oh boy, man, that grieving is truly a gift, man. Letting go of the old script, learning how to feel, and part of this process she had helped me with before we got married, so I was familiar with what it would take to do that, right? So the release and then building the comeback, baby. The rebuilding process, man. You don't get this ain't no easy way around what we're talking about here. You're in it, and you're gonna get your butt kicked. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna be painful. But listen to me when I talk about these pieces here: identity, right? Identity, boundaries. Woo, man, some new habits, baby, some new practices. That identity shift is amazing. I went from hiding myself from the mirror, right? There were days when I didn't want to look in the mirror. There were days when all my emotions were scrambled, and I was just like, man, I just need to get through the day. I was shaved, right, and man, I had patches, and my shaving was a mess. I mean, I was just kind of a mess, man. But we didn't have to stay there. I didn't have to stay there, right? So from all of these things, man, and what people have been talking about, man, from what I've done, from all of this is I want to ask you this question. Has this been valuable for you? And if you get the replay and you hear it, just shoot me a DM to put mirror and then recording, and I don't know who it is, and then let's connect after that, right? But if this has been valuable for you, type in mirror in the chat, because the next slide is going to give you an opportunity to do something together, right? So if this is you and you're still with me, I'm sure then you want to do this. It's only been like 30, 40 minutes that we spent together. And I want you to join me for a 90-minute breaking down the mirror moment. I'm inviting you, baby, to a 90-minute breakdown of the mirror moment, right? Where we come in together and people that are really willing to do some work, people that are really sick and tired of being sick and tired. Oh, man, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, then stay with me here, right? Because I got something that I'm actually doing myself, right? And I don't have coaches doing it. I'm doing this piece right here, right? I mean, I'm talking through everything that we're talking about. I'm going to be the one showing up. I'm going to be the one doing the training, right? I've been doing the training. So the mirror moment, magnificent comeback. It's a magnificent journey, baby, when I think about it. With all the things that I went through, it was a magnificent journey. It still is a magnificent journey, right? Boy, it's a 90-minute live workshop, virtual, so you can do it from the comfort of your home. You can bring your friends around so y'all can have some parties around the mirror moment, right? And that mirror moment, step-by-step coaching with some prompts. We're going to go through those 3 pieces that we just showed you, but we're going to also do some other work, right, to kind of help you kind of start to unlock some things that I believe are necessary for you to do, right? Unlock these things, man. We're going to really kind of dive deep into some areas, right? And then 60-day comeback map. And what that is that we're sitting right here today on day 1. This is how you're feeling. We talk all that through together, and then we kind of outline some things but steps and practices that you can begin to incorporate right now, right? I mean, right freaking now, man, not later on, that you can do so in the 30-day mark, and then in that 60-day mark. But I'm telling you, and every day you're looking in the mirror in the morning and at night, and then in the afternoon of the day, and you're standing and you're reminding yourself how magnificent you are, right? You are the magnificent comeback, man. Are you hearing me when I talk to you about that? So we go through that map, lay out the map. Everybody knows what a map, GPS, right? It takes you from this point to avoid all the other crap that you're going to get stuck in traffic and all the other things, and get you to the place you want to be. That's what that map's going to do for you. It's going to be identity-driven, new boundaries to protect yourself, and daily practices, man. So that identity shift, oh boy, I got to take that identity shift, man. There's nothing like it, right? When I finally say, okay, I'm not that guy anymore. I put down the shame. I put down the guilt. I'm not that guy anymore. Oh man, are you hearing me? I want that for you. When you can do that, that identity shift begins, and then you create new boundaries. I had to put new boundaries around my things so I could be guarded against the triggers that were still lurking, right? Those triggers they don't go away overnight. So boundaries around myself, for myself, and then most importantly, daily practices. right? Daily, simple daily practices. And the first one was like a 24-hour exercise. I will not call her today. When I think about her, I will stop and not act. I will wait until I stop. Did you hear me? Two things, right? And those things helped. And then at the end of the day, I began to feel better about Jeff because I was doing things that I knew that were hard for me to do, that I needed to do in order to let go, right? And begin the process of grieving and all those things that go along with that, and then start to move away from the situation, man, right? So, and then the mirror moment worksheet, we got a worksheet that really kind of goes through, I like to call it just a snapshot of where you are, kind of taking a look at some of the things that you believe were part of the reasons why things ended up the way they did. And only about taking responsibilities, not blaming, right? Really diving deep into the emotional side of it, the mental state at different times, right? And then in that process, when we find sometimes we got to call in the psychiatrist, the psychologist to kind of help you get to that next level, because that is not who I am, right? I am not that person, never begin to betray that I am that person, but I know that there are people like me that have experiences that can help folks like you. And I'm humble enough to say, hey, listen, from what I'm seeing, you probably need to go talk to this person. I'll be the first one, and I support them, right? But I also know that I see a lot of people that haven't had much success in that space. And I don't want you to give up on you, right? If that's you, I don't want you to give up on you. Anyway, so 60-day comeback map. I already talked about the GPS and all that. And in the mirror moment worksheet, King thinking prompts, right? King and queen thinking prompts. We need to update the slide because it is for men and women. Thinking prompts, right? The transformation, not motivation. I'm not here to motivate you. I'm not here to rah-rah you. I'm not here to blow smoke up your, you know what. I'm here to let you know that it's possible with a new identity and boundaries and daily practices. And all starting by looking in that freaking mirror, right? Listening to the voice that's screaming back at you. But by the time it gets to your vision, it's a whisper, right? So all that stuff, man, and that's it. So that's like $1,000 value for $47. And actually, guys, that $47, it's a free webinar, man. So that's what the cost is for the VIP, $47. The event is free. And the registration for the event, which is in the comment section, we got that in there now. I want you to fill that out. There is no charge. It is a free freaking webinar. And there is a VIP option, which we'll talk about, right? So that investment for this webinar is free. Should be $46, should be $9.97, but it's free. Because here's what I know. If you spend 90 minutes with me and you really do some work, then if we never work again, you're going to have something that you can stand on to begin to be a bridge over troubled waters. I love that song. Bridge over troubled waters, baby. Let me be that bridge over your troubled waters, right? So the registration is in the chat. Get registered for that event. We're looking at the date at the end of the month, but get registered now because it's going to be a limited space, right, for that piece. Right? We don't want rooms full of people. We want some folks in there that are looking for some help and willing to do some work, right? So please, please, please fill that out and get your name on the list, get registered, and then we'll go from there, right? So everybody got it? Mirror Moment Magnificent Comeback is free, not $47, man. The VIP access, which is $47, is access to a Mirror Moment training recordings. So everything that we've done in that 90-minute workshop, which is going to be more than that. At 90 minutes, I'm guarantee you we're not going to be able to stop, right? It's just, anybody that knows me will tell you that it's going to be, you're going to get your money's worth, right? So if you do the VIP. So that's Mirror Moment Training Recordings, 60-minute discovery call. I threw that in there. What is that? Right, we do a call before we, if time of my permits, I will do a call before, certainly during or after this training process with you. And it's about discovery. It's about kind of sharing with you my experiences and asking you a lot of questions. You're going to be asked a lot of questions, and it's going to be a little private setting, man. It's discovering things that, right, that can help you, right? Why did things happen the way they did? What were you thinking? What weren't you thinking? How did you find yourself in this? I mean, we really dive deep into some really pointed questions to help you get some discovery. Like the word said, discovery calls, man. And I'm focused. That's just that stuff is with me. That's you and me, whoever you are, me, right? And the bonus, put this in a 30-day accountability follow-up plan. So we do that, after the discovery call. I've got plenty of stuff that I'll kind of put together, like a little 30-day plan around an accountability. So that here's what you're going to do these next 30 days of this process, right? And I'm going to help you get through those 30 days, man. Right? Some steps that you need to practice, some accountability things, and please, if you're not interested in doing the work, don't waste my time, because I'm not going to waste yours. Right? Did you hear what I just said? If you're not interested in doing the work, then don't waste my time and don't waste yours. Because that's these 60 days and 60-minute and 30-day accountability thing, that takes work, man. But the results are just amazing. They're magnificent. It's the challenge, right? Bonus VIP access to the summit. I mentioned to you at the beginning about the Heartbreak to Healing Summit process, where we bring in experts, and 15 to 21 experts from all over the world, and they talk about a section that they're experts in relationships and the divorce process and self-love and healing and the health in the body and mind in the body, health, mind, and the body and spirit, all that stuff, man. We give you access to that information, plus all the gifts that they all offer. So you get a ton of stuff. What is that, like $1,000? And for that, actually, with all the free gifts, that's $2,000 worth of stuff. So $9,000 for the accountability call, because that's what my time is. $997, right? For the map, the 30-day accountability follow-up map. $997 for an hour with me on the phone, or a training recording, man, which is going to be powerful. $500. So all that stuff's about $4,488, man. All that value, right? And this is for real, because it changes lives. And the promise is always going to be there, not just to feel seen, right? It's not just to say you've been there, but you know that you've been heard, and you'll have some next steps. That's the promise, baby. And to do it now. I mean, you can do this exercise without anything. What is that? I'm giving one. Just in the next 24 hours, when you hear this, take 24 hours. And if you were in that phase of the process of divorce and you're doing things that are causing you some pain and grief, then I want you to pick one thing that you can say a no to. If it's calling your ex-person, or if it's dropping by, or if you're in the habit of doing something for them that you're like, it started out kind of cool because you thought it would win him or her back, but then after a while, you're like, man, I don't really want to do this anymore. Pick that, right? And then find a way to do it day one. Call me and I'll help you. If you got something like that and you need some help, DM me, say, Jeff, I heard you. I got something I want to try, but I really need your help. I need you to really help talk me through that. Then you DM me and I will do that for you. So you heard it on the webinar, I will do that. Because it's that important that you understand, man, that this thing can change for you. And I am that guy that will do the work with you, not for you. Right? Do the work with you, not for you. So we had a fast action bonus VIP price for free. That's what the flyer says. So if you get this, and the day is what is the day? The day is the 18th. If you get this and you say, hey, Jeff, I heard the webinar on the 18th. I'm going to write it down. I had free VIP access. I'm signed up. I'm registered. Then let's do what we do. Put me to the test, man. Right? Put me to the test. Give me something that I can work with. Right? Let's do this work together, man. I'm trying to tell you, right? So you guys get VIP access, man. $4,400 worth of information in there. Things that will help you become aware of what's going on, that you can practice. Set some new identity up around who you want to be, right? Put some boundaries around you for your own protection, man, and then begin to rebuild yourself. Oh, boy. Come on, man. You are worth it. You are worth it, and you deserve it. So the comment section has a registration. You don't have to DM me for that. But if you want to talk to me about, hey, you need some help on this 24-hour challenge that I just put out there, then make sure you get a hold of me, and I'll be glad to help you with that. Come on, man. This man or woman, let's do this thing together. So that thing, just recovering what the whole challenge, the 90-minute workshop is, the Mirror Moment Magnificent Comeback is a 90-minute live workshop where we chop it up when I bring people up in the session and we talk back and forth. And, the whole thing is quality of conversation. There might be things on the agenda that are on there, but if we are at a point where people are like, man, I got what I need, thank you. And that's all there is. And if you want more, we can obviously give that to you. So 90-minute workshop, mirror moment, step-by-step coaching, right? What does that mirror moment, those 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, awareness, rebuilding, right? Breaking the loops. So all that and how we do that and what that is. And then the comeback map, which is identity, boundaries, and practices, right? New identities, boundaries, and practices. What that map leads you to. And remember, think about your GPS, right? You're no longer lost, right? That map will go help you reshape your identity, rebuild your boundaries, and create some new daily practices. And it's called practice for a reason, because that's what it's going to take, baby. Some practice and patience, some other things. Okay, you got that? And then the last thing in that is what? Mirror moment worksheet, thinking prompts. That mirror moment worksheet is some daily things. It's got daily activities. It's got a 30-day kind of follow-up thing. It's got some daily inventory questions that you can do. I mean, it's got some really cool things in there to kind of give you some tools to guard yourself against yourself. And the Fast Action VIP upgrade, free, if you get a hold of me. All right, so register. That's in the comment sections. And if you're really looking for, in the description, there's also an opportunity to become part of our community, from Heartbreak to Healing community, where we come in, I show up, man. I bring things in there that I believe will help people kind of get refocused, right? Reshaped and re-engaged in their life. Man, come on, business owners, employees, whoever you might be. If you're carrying something that you've been carrying for a while, stop the struggle, stop the suffer. So you guys get that VIP? Hit me up with that. $4,400 value VIP. The magnificent comeback is yours. The mirror moment is time. I mean, it's really time. So anyhow, let me see. Is there anything else I got for you? No Q&A. I mean, I would just tell you this. Make sure you look at the VIP. Take advantage of that. All that stuff is for free, right? From the maps and the phone calls and the discovery message and all that's designed to honor the promise, to protect yourself, right? Protect yourself and start healing. Protect yourself from yourself and start healing. So if that's you, make sure you register. If you got any problems with the registration, please DM me, right? We're working through these things, and they probably didn't want me to do this webinar I had on my calendar for today because they hadn't got that registration figured out. But please, 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 if you don't know anything else about me, I want to tell you something. I'm going to challenge you. Those of you that listen to this live and recording from stopped in, however you might be, I want to challenge you to hear me when I tell you this. There's no greater time than now to begin a new journey, right? And the mirror moment is the magnificent mirror moment comeback is for you to have. And I believe like nothing else, because listen, as I close this thing up, I'm going to tell you, there were times when I was balled up in a ball and I just hated myself, right? And I couldn't change things, and I wanted to, and it was just stuck. And then when I surrendered some things, and I started to put myself in a place that I didn't harm myself. And then I started to look in the mirror and see myself differently, and the messaging started to change. And then I went from hating myself to disliking myself to tolerating myself, right? It's a process, right? And then I got some help and learned to love myself. People love on me until I could love myself again, man. And I even though I was a player, and I enjoy the idea of marriage, man. And because I was able to do some things and follow this process, I can tell you now, man, that I reset myself, reset my life, and been happily married, man, for going on 15 years with a woman that is just magnificent, man. And with that, she brought us a daughter, and daughter married with children now, so I'm a grandfather, and being able to be a part of a child's life growing up again, having that second opportunity. And my first marriage, I had a son, man, an amazing young man, right? Oh man, amazing young man. I don't see him ever, and all those things that I watched from a distance, amazing young man. So I'm trying to tell you, if you don't give up, man, things are possible to change. I'm living proof, man. From heartbreak to healing and pathways to extraordinary love once again. If I can do it, you can do it. Let's take this journey together. Go to the comment section, register for this event. Have any problems whatsoever, DM me, and we will get back to you and make sure that you no longer have an excuse to stay stuck where you are. All right. Take care of yourself. You know what to do. And it's free for the next couple of days with the VIP stuff. And why is that important? I already gave you, some stuff, right? And here's what I'll tell you, and you can hold me to this. For those of you that registered, I will stay with you, right? Until you get your first shift. I ain't gonna do that for everybody. So the first 5 people that say, hey, Jeff, I'm gonna take you up on my first shift. You got to do the work and we'll put it all together and I'll show up for you because I know how to get you there, right? So that is the closing bonus. I heard you say, Jeff, you will help me get to my first shift because there's shifts along the way. If that's you, drop it in here, get with me, and let's make this thing happen. All right? So that's all I got for you now. Let's get busy, and we'll see you soon. You are worth it. Put yourself first, and your comeback starts now. Be a part of the worldwide movement, right? It changes your life and the lives of those around you. All right, come back, hang out. Have a great day. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.